Well, g'day iRiders. Gorgeous morning. Quite early in the morning, and I'm out for a cruise on my XVS1100. Doing one of my favourite roads in the area. Up Gentle Annie through Wilmot to Sathana, back to Sheffield. And of course, within the first minute or two, I've caught a tourist car that's going painfully slowly. God, I love cruising. There's just something about being on a V-twin. Which brings me to my topic for today. In answer to riding country. And the video he did a while ago. And I wanted to talk about the first experiences I had with motorcycles and why I got into motorcycling myself. My first experience with a road bike was when I was about 11, when we went to Perth, Western Australia for a family holiday. And we went down to Fremantle. And Fremantle's a beautiful spot on the water, famous sort of bar and cafe district, and we met up with one of my uncles, and we spent the day at Fremantle. And then as we were heading back to the car, there was this massive Harley Davidson in the car park. And my uncle knew the guy that was on it. Your classic denim, leather, matte black open helmet sort of dude. And there was a quick discussion. And suddenly I was being hoisted up onto the back of this Harley. So he fired up this Harley Davidson. And I'd never heard anything so loud. He clunked it into gear. Tore out of the car park. I think my mum and dad absolutely shat themselves. And then we went out onto, I think it was a freeway. And for me it felt like we were absolutely flying. We're possibly doing the speed limit, but I remember that we were overtaking traffic left, right and centre. I was secure in what what felt like a big leather armchair. It had a sissy bar and a backrest and armrests, and I was locked in, wasn't going anywhere. And for about 45 minutes we roared around, and it was the most amazing experience. And we eventually came back into one of the car parks at the Fremantle area. And because of the vibration and the adrenaline, I was shaking and I was hooked. I knew at that point, at some point in my life, I was going to have a Harley. It was one of the most memorable experiences of my life. And now, in my 30s, I've had a couple of cruisers, a Harley, and now this bad boy. Living that dream, roaring down these roads, living that dream. Amazing view. What an amazing view. Wilmot Valley of Views, I'm not joking. Lake Barrington, Mount Roland, Mount Van Dyke, Western Tiers. Beautiful spot. One thing that inspired me to get my license was Charlie Borman. And before you turn off, this is not actually a long way around story. Like everyone, I watched Long Way Around in 2005, loved it, bought the DVD, loved it. But I actually found that Long Way Around itself made motorcycling and motorcycle touring seem completely unachievable. It seemed like you had to have a massive 1200 GS, a mate, a cameraman, several support vehicles, several support crew. So I actually found that Long Way Around didn't really inspire me to go out and get an adventure bike and travel the world. It sort of does more now when I watch it than what it did originally. It just made it seem completely and utterly unachievable for someone in their early 20s. What actually inspired me was the next one he did, By Any Means. And in that documentary series, the first means of transport that he gets on is this beautiful Triumph bobber. And I knew nothing about Triumphs, and I certainly knew nothing about different customization styles at that point. But he jumped on this beautiful, or he had it built, and then he jumped on this beautiful stripped down vintage motorcycle, candy apple red Mini Apes. I loved that bike. I really was absolutely gobsmacked by the look of that bike. So after a bit of searching on the interwebs, I discovered that it was a Triumph. It was a style of bike called Bobber, and I was hooked. And the trouble was, I couldn't afford a Triumph Bobber, and I had no experience to build one, and I didn't have a motorcycle license. So step one was to get my license, and I hunted around for a LAMPS approved bike that could be turned into a bobber, and I settled on an XV250 Yamaha cruiser, like a Dragstar 250, an XVS 250, Virago 250. They go by many different names, but I settled on that, and I set to work before I even had my license customizing that. I never actually rode that bike stock standard. By the time I had my license and was on the road, I'd had it in the garage a month, and I'd done a whole heap of work to it. So the very first time I went out on the road on my L plates, I was on this schmick-ass 250 bobber, and I didn't care that it was 250. I felt like the king of the road, and I kept that bike for years, and I just kept modifying it, and so it was that one chance television viewing of, by any means, that not only made me a lifelong fan of Charlie Borman, but it brought back memories of that Harley from my childhood, and that feeling of freedom ripping through the road, and the feeling of being the king of the road. And it set up a chain of events that led me to tell you this story today. Funny how life goes, eh? Spotted tail quail. But guys, as I enjoy the freedom of the road and the sound of a V-twin through some of the most awesome back roads in the world. My name is I Ride Taz, and I am out.